Hello everybody, I am Bunny from the band the PeterOTooles.
And I'm Coco from the PeterOTooles.
Yesterday Coco showed you how to make a horrific black eye, which as you can see I still have. Today I'm going to get my revenge. Now of course I didn't actually just injure Coco's hand with a cheese grater, so put down the phone, do not call the police. We did it through the magic of makeup. And we're going to have Coco explain to you precisely how that was done. Coco?
Let's do this!
Oh my God, that is so horrible! Oh my God, that is so horrible! Oh my God, that is so horrible!
What you need for a skinned knuckle, and it doesn't have to be by a cheese grater, it could be rubbing your hand, oops, I scraped it along a brick wall, or I fell off my bike and scraped it on the asphalt. What you need for this is a good red color, and just like with our previous project with the black eye, you could use the red from your bruise wheels. That'll work just fine. You'll also need a new thing. It's called a stipple sponge, and you can see it's black and very porous. And this usually comes in a big block, but we don't need that much, so I just cut a little bit off. We'll also need our setting powder again, and what makes this a really realistic injury is the use of liquid latex. And you can get liquid latex in a little bottle or a big bottle. But we'll just need a little bit for this project. And Q-tip will help. Also something with a very fine point like a toothpick. So to start, we'll need to put a little dab of liquid latex wherever you want your injury to be. So you want to put on a little thin circle of this and a smooth circle. So once it's on, don't play with it too much. Something like that is just fine. And then it won't take long to dry. If you want to speed up the drying process, you can use the cool setting on your hair dryer. Okay, so while we're waiting for the liquid latex to dry, it's a good time to remind you guys that all of this makeup is easily removable with soap and water from your skin. For the liquid latex, if you have darker skin, since it's latex based, it's really easy to match your color to the latex with acrylic paint. You can go buy acrylic paint at any craft store and mix it in small doses at a time and test it, because it might dry a little bit lighter than it is when it is in its liquid state. Okay, so our liquid latex is dry. You can see it blends in really well if you get a clear liquid latex. And so before we do anything with that, we want it to make it look like we've been injured. So we're going to get out our red color and our makeup sponge. And when you're doing this, keep in mind how you fell or how you got injured. Like, did you get scraped in a certain direction? So for this one, I'm going to make it look like we fell with our hand going down and the injury going up my hand like that. So keep that in mind when you're putting on your makeup. So the makeup would be going like this, and you can go onto your knuckle, go a little bit outside of the boundaries of your liquid latex. And keeping injuries in mind, they're not always uniform. So while you want to blend it in, it doesn't have to be perfect everywhere. Just want to make sure it looks like an injury. So some parts are going to be darker and some parts are going to be lighter. And just go over the liquid latex as if it were your own skin. Alright, that looks pretty good. But you'll see that we can really tell where the liquid latex is. This is where the stipple sponge really comes in handy. You just take it and you dip it in your red color, the same red color, and again with a very light hand you can, and keeping in mind the direction you fell, you can kind of dot outside the seam where the latex meets your skin. Just very lightly. And you can see it helps to disguise that line a bit. See how it becomes invisible there? But those dots don't really tell me what direction I fell. So again, with your stipple sponge and a light hand, sort of lightly scrape upward. And they look like scrapes. And you can color to taste, as if you want to have more scratches or less scratches, that's up to you. But that looks pretty good. Now to the fun part, and this is where you want to get your toothpick. Very lightly, we're going to pull up this bit of liquid latex. This is going to be our flap of skin, our skinned knuckle that was dug up on that brick or however we fell, or cheese grater. And the liquid latex, when you put it on in a thin coat, it really picks up the pattern of your skin and looks like skin. And you'll see when it's thin it will kind of curl up. It's a really nice effect. And we'll have a big flap here. We'll make it really gross. Alright, now we have our flap of skin. But you'll see that underneath it doesn't look very gruesome yet. So we'll have to add some dimension. We'll want to make it red under there, of course. So you can just color it in, really. You can color the top if you want. So if you have your injury stack, it helps at this point, and it's not necessary, but you can use a darker color to sort of add a base, and you can use your toothpick for this part. And just kind of add it in at the seam underneath the flap. And that just kind of makes it look maybe a little bit deeper than it would be otherwise. Still not as gruesome as it could be. Where's the blood? Now, there's a lot of different bloods that you can buy. You'll have no trouble buying blood or even making your own blood with corn syrup and food coloring. But in the store there's a lot of different bloods. There's really runny blood, very liquidy and runny. For an injury that you'll be wearing out and about, you might not want something that's gonna always be wet and runny. You might want something more like a blood paste. It will always look wet, but it will be in more of a solid state, like a jelly. You'll see this is really gelatinous. So you want to take a little bit of this and if you did want to use a lot of blood, you'll see that it doesn't really matter if you make that darker addition in there. But you'll just kind of add it in a way That's not too neat because it's an injury. Don't want to make it look too precise. Maybe get it on the edges of this flap of skin. Maybe press it down into there and pull it back up. Even that looks pretty gross, like when the flap of skin re-adheres. But I want it sticking up. So we'll pull the flap back up. And you can also take your stipple sponge and make those little fine points of blood on your skin. And again, using that motion in the direction that you fell. Looks pretty good. I think we're done.
Astonishing and terrifying. I'm Bunny from the PeterOTooles.
And I'm Coco from the PeterOTooles.
Those are our 2 makeup projects for right now. If you're interested in another one, feel free to leave a comment beneath our videos, and if we know how to do it, we'll be happy to show you. But for now, this is the PeterOTooles saying have a great Halloween.
Happy Halloween!
Hardcore.